Happy New Year. Today is the first day of January of 2022. First day of the new year. And welcome back to the PipeCat channel. I'm Larry. And as much as I wanted to post an inspirational video for the first one of the new year, I thought that instead I would do something rather more relevant. This story is going to be my experience with COVID. On Christmas Day, a week ago, Christmas Day of 2021, I got up in the morning and was feeling a little extra fatigued, but then I'd been up all night Christmas Eve wrapping gifts for the children in my sister's household. And so the idea was to go there in the morning, let them open their gifts, and then, take off for a while and come back later for dinner. And on my way to her house, I just felt really tired. And I said, wow, I just want to get this over with. So to be safe, of course, I wore a mask. And when I got there, I sanitized my hands and brought in what remaining gifts I still had to put under the tree for the kids. And then I said, well, I actually had an argument with my sister. Long story. I was going to leave for the day and then come back later on for dinner. And but as things turned out, things got busy. The young people start putting together their gifts, and they need help doing that. So I stayed, and then my other sister showed up, and she brought our mother. So basically we had the whole house full of people. And I was helping to assemble gifts. And then we had dinner. And it hadn't even really occurred to me that I might actually be sick. I thought that I was just very tired. But as the day wore on, I began to feel just bad. I don't know how else to put it. When you're getting a cold or the flu, you can kind of feel it coming on, and you're like, oh, I feel gross. I think I'm coming down with something. Which I felt a million times, in my lifetime. But this time, by the time I realized that something was wrong, it was probably halfway through the dinner. I was cautious, I didn't want to touch anybody else. I didn't, I kept what distance I could, but by the time I realized something was wrong, I had probably exposed everyone. So I had to take my sister aside and say, look, I don't feel well. I think I better go. She says, what's wrong? I said, I just feel totally wrong. I just feel weird. Something's not right. Something's bad. And she just goes, oh no. I said, yes, I know. Everyone's here, including Mom. I know. She says, well, go home. See how you feel in the morning. So, excuse me. Next morning, pardon me. This is a theme you'll see throughout this video. The next morning when I opened my eyes, I felt like I was in probably the 5th or 6th circle of hell. I was so dizzy. I had bed spins. If you've ever had those aren't much fun. I opened my eyes in the morning, and I wasn't sure I was connected to reality. That's how sick I felt. So I got online and I looked everywhere to try and find a home COVID test kit. Those are impossible to find now in most places. I don't know about where you live, but in Massachusetts, where I live, it was nearly impossible. Till finally I used a few very clever, channels that I know about, and I ended up being directed to a minor little pharmacy about 2 towns away. And I called them and they said, well, we've got a couple of them left, but they're going to go quick, so get here quick if you want one. So I did. Sick as I was, I got in the car. I don't even remember driving. Honest to God, I don't even remember driving there. Got there, bought the kit. Bought a thermometer, which I didn't have at home. Brought the kit home and administered it. Long story short, it was instantly positive for COVID. Now, these kits, as I understand it, the particular one that I used, are supposed to be about 75% accurate in generating, in other words, there's a 25% chance that it might generate a false negative, but it's a lot less chance that it would generate a false positive. So basically the understanding is that if you get a positive result, you can probably trust it. Instantly positive. It was the kind where you put the little drops in the little tray and you watch for the two bands. And the one that's supposed to stay blank went black. So I had to call my whole family and tell them, everybody try and find a test or get tested somewhere and quarantine yourselves. And they loved that. And I'll skip the day by day, but today being New Year's Day, that means that it is the 8th day that I've had it, if you count Christmas, right? And after 8 days of feeling much like that first day, or that second day, after 8 days of that, okay, having ups and downs, I had a couple of moments where I felt almost healthy. And then a half an hour later, back under the hammer. I mean, I've never experienced anything like this. This is more of a cautionary tale for those of you who are being cavalier about, exposing yourself to it. But when I thought I was on the mend after a few days, I said, oh, thank God that's coming to an end. The worst was yet to come. Today is the 8th day that I've had it, and when I woke up this morning, I had 101.5 temperature. And that's with taking, fever-reducing medications. I went out and got supplements. I'm not sure if they're going to help me now, but I went out and bought C and D and zinc, which they tell you should be doing zinc. And drinking the fluids and all that. The strange thing about this odd disease is that sleep. You want it. You feel the need to sleep. But sleep, for some reason, in my case, has been the number one worst thing I can do. The sleep is troubled, and invariably when I wake up, my fever is high. Every time I go to sleep, even if it was almost normal before I went to sleep. Now, I try not to overly snuggle up in the blankets and things like that, but if I take a nap for an hour, I've fallen asleep in this chair, sitting straight up, opened my eyes and said, oh my God, and realized that the fever was raging again. So it's very scary, and there are very few natural things you can do to combat it. I'm constantly looking for things. People are sending me advice, all that, oh, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And of course, what's the comment you're going to get every single day from everyone who asks you how you're feeling? Harry, how you feeling today? Bud, it's been a few days. How you feeling? And I tell them, oh, you should go to the ER. You should go to the hospital. You need to be seen. Well, let me address those questions, because if you do get sick, that's what you're going to hear from people. I called the nearest general hospital emergency room. And I said, should I be concerned? I told them about my age, my weight, my diabetes, all this other, high fever and organ failure and all that kind of thing that I'm afraid of. I said, should I come in? And they said, nope. I said, how am I supposed to get care? They said, take care of it yourself. I said, I'm going to call my doctor's office. They said, yeah, do that. Called my doctor's office, and they said, no recommendations. Take care of it yourself. Stay home, quarantine, handle it. I said, what should I be doing? Look it up. Great doctors, man. The hospital told me the line in the emergency room right now waiting for a bed is practically out the door. There are no tests to be had anywhere. And, there are people here who are hardly breathing, and we don't have beds for them. So if you're able to speak and you're upright, don't come here. Okay? That's important. And my doctor said to me, we will not issue any kind of antiviral prescription to you. You are a nothing on our scale. My own doctor told me that. She's like, you're nothing to worry about. You're treatable. You're upright. You're functional. Now, I'm not going to cry and say, oh, woe is me, and she should have had more pity on me. No. But I am going to say that that's the truth. That is the truth. I haven't vomited or been stomach sick. Thank God. I have not had that. Okay? I have not passed out from high fever or anything like that. But number one, and this is, I'll thank God now, even though he's not done with me yet on this, I have not had any problems breathing. That's the worry. Now, I have coughed up a lot of shit. I'm not going to lie there. In the morning when I wake up especially, once I get that fever down low enough so that I can cough without feeling like passing out, I do cough up a lot of dark, nasty crap. And no, I'm not smoking or anything like that. Okay? I'm drinking all the water, all the clear fluids, all that stuff. I'm sticking to that. But that's the truth. My COVID has been 8 days old as of today, the first day of the year, 2022, and is still bad. Okay? You hear me speaking right now, and I thank God I can speak clearly, and I can breathe. I can breathe. There are many who can't. Okay? You have to do what seems right to you, but get as much knowledge as you can before you do it. Okay? And if you have had COVID, think twice before you go get vaccinated. Okay? You do have the antibody thing to consider. There's a lot of science there. Everybody thinks they know the answer. Well, look for yourself. Get it from multiple sources and don't just go on YouTube. Okay? Nobody wants this. This is horrible, and I feel like I'm going to come out the other end of it okay. Right now I'm kind of okay. Right now, as I speak to you, my fever is about 100.5, I think is what it was. And it's been all day, up and down. I woke up with 101.5, which is kind of high for me. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it right there. But that's been my COVID experience so far, and I don't know how long this is going to keep me in its grip. But after 8 days, it's like the first day, and it's miserable. You don't want it. So be careful out there. Thank you for watching this. I hope that it gives you some sort of anecdotal help in determining how you want to conduct your safety measures and things like that. But I don't want to influence you any particular way. Like I said, there's good science backing up a lot of different things. There is a lot of ulterior motive in there. There really is. But there's also some good science behind some of the stuff. So look it up and satisfy your own questions before you do anything. And if you feel even the slightest bit off, do not get around people. Isolate. I know it's awful, and we've all been doing that for a long time, but I thought I was going to get that Omicron one and say, oh yeah, it's just like having a cold. No such luck. Sense of smell and taste out the window. Okay, so that's not Omicron. If I drink water, it tastes like I'm drinking liquid tinfoil. And if I sip soup, it's like drinking warm water. And if I take a bite of any kind of food, no matter how spicy it is, I might as well be chewing on styrofoam. So there's that. They say that takes a couple of months to come back. So that's how I know I didn't get the Omicron variant. I don't know which one I did get, but it's horrifying. And I had this towel wrapped around me, kind of like a shawl. But right now, as I'm talking to you, here comes another heat wave. I'm sweating. My neck has become wet now. I'm taking it off for a while. It'll be like this again, up and down a few times before I go to bed tonight. And the morning when I get up tomorrow, it's going to be a raging fever again, chances are, and I'll feel too cold to sweat at first. And then when the fever starts coming down, I'll begin to sweat and I'll be miserable again. It takes half a day to get to where you feel like I feel right now. It's kind of okay. Like you can survive it. Kind of okay. But it does take most of the day to get to that point. And then when you feel the need to sleep, hydrate first, because in the morning, that you're going to be facing the raging fever again, which I'm not looking forward to. They're telling me that I should allow 2 weeks for this cycle to keep going, and I'm not happy about it. So anyway, that's what's going on, and I will have some more positive material for you shortly, but I just wanted to share this with you now because it's a very real thing, and yeah, it's a very important part of my life. By the way, nobody else in my family has tested for COVID. My mother was able to get an emergency test done. In fact, they gave her 2. They came to her house and administered 1, and they sent a van to pick her up and take her to a drive-through test. And she was negative. Thank God for that. And she was negative like 5 days after the fact. So, yeah. I told her, Mom, stay home and you lock yourself in there. As far as my sister and her kids go over at her house, my niece and her boyfriend who lived there had COVID last year. And they came down with something after I was gone, but it's only lasted a couple of days. They haven't been able to get tested, but they say they don't feel bad. Just gross, you know. So there's that. My other niece, the younger of the 2 nieces that live there, she had a sore throat for a while, but she says she feels better now. Thank God. My sister, however, is fighting something off. She doesn't know what, but she can't get a test. She doesn't have the same symptoms as I do, but she's fighting something off, so who knows? It's crazy, and it affects everybody differently. That's it for now. That's enough HIPAA violation for one day, I think. But thank you for tuning in, and stay safe, all right? Please stay safe. Don't ever have to make a video like this one. In the meantime, you know, other than that, I hope you have a happy and prosperous new year. We certainly all deserve one. So you take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you with better news soon. I hope.